and endless skies. Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained I thrive, I thrive.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nomads 50 Plus. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and it is my current mission to interview 1,000 digital nomads. That's right, folks, 1,000 digital nomads and or midlife recalibrators. And today we have a very special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your story?
Thanks for having me, Chris. I am Simo D. I moved to Belize in 2022 with my family. I was in construction for about 20 years in Canada. And when I moved abroad, I had to completely rechange careers. So I went into content writing, then into workflow automations, which is what I'm currently doing. And yeah, it's been a big life change and a big adventure. And I'm excited to chat with you about it today.
Fantastic. So tell me how you decided, like, did something happen? Like, was there a job loss, or what was the reason for you to move? Did you decide one day, I want to blow this pop stand? I can't stand the weather in Canada anymore, or what was it?
It's like a little bit of column A and maybe a lot of column B. So
I know that I'm originally Canadian.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So when my wife and I, we like to travel a lot, and so we traveled quite a bit before we got together, and then once we did, we traveled together quite a bit. And when we would travel to places, my wife would always say like, "Oh, let's move here," and it'd be a place like Iceland or something. And
wait a minute.
Yeah. So we always kind of say like she's the gas and I'm the brakes. So I'd pump the brakes on those ones. But we came to Belize for what we called our baby moon. So my wife was pregnant with our first, and we figured it'd be our last chance to have a little bit of us time before the baby came. And we fell in love with it. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people. Well, at the time it was really affordable to buy real estate here. So it gave us the opportunity to, be under 40 and mortgage free and no car payments.
Wow.
So yeah,
I don't know anybody who's under 40 and has those things. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, we had to take a big leap to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, it was getting to be a little bit unattainable. I mean, I had the mortgage and the car payments and all that kind of stuff, and it was a lot. And we're here, like I said before we were recording, the Caribbean Sea is literally like right there. I can walk across the street and it's there.
Wow.
And to get something like that in Canada, to be that close to the coast or that close to a Great Lake or one of the Muskoka Lakes or something like that, you need to be in the 1%, right?
Oh yeah. And Muskoka, compared to where you are now, I mean, it's a big difference. Right?
Yeah, 100%. So this allowed us to kind of get a little piece of that for a fraction of the cost. So when we were there on that trip, we actually spent a lot of that trip looking for real estate, and then we actually had put an offer in on a place. And nice. This was February of 2022, end of February 2022. So right before kind of COVID lockdowns hit, and our realtor at the time said, "You know what? We don't really know what's going on with this pandemic thing or this COVID virus going around. Maybe you should put a clause in the agreement to essentially be able to back out of the deal and get your deposit back, right? Because part of the stipulation is you have to come down and after 14 or within 14 days of closing to just make sure everything is good on the property. Mm-hmm. And then we got home from that trip, and 2 days later it was lockdowns. Everything shut down. So that deal sort of, went to the wayside, and it actually ended up being a massive blessing because my first son was born. It was a very traumatic birth, and he spent his first 30 days in the NICU. He nearly died at birth. He was had an extreme case of meconium aspiration syndrome, and he was hypoxic for 30 minutes. So I was without oxygen for the first 30 minutes of his life. Yeah, they put him. So luckily, we were in a place called Hamilton, Ontario, and there's one of the.
Oh yes, I know Hamilton very well. I'm originally from Toronto, so.
Oh yeah, so McMaster Children's Hospital is there. It's like a world-renowned children's and like educational hospital. And they saved his life. And we were getting prognoses of moderate to severe brain damage.
Wow.
Once we knew he would survive. And I mean, and we were originally planning on having the baby in Belize.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of a serendipitous turn of events on not being able to purchase here. But once we got him out of the hospital and he was miraculously, like, his MRIs came back completely like normal, like nothing,
Wow.
no brain damage or anything. The doctors were completely dumbfounded. They had no idea. They actually avoided us for like a week because they on giving us the MRI results, because they figured something was wrong and they were analyzing it, they were reanalyzing it, and finally they just kind of determined, and when they finally talked to us, they said, we don't know how to explain this, but he's fine. And
he's fine. Oh my God, that must have been amazing. That fantastic.
No, it was like, it's like I don't usually use words like this, but like miracle, essentially, whether scientific miracle or something else. But it certainly was a miracle. And then we just fell back right into kind of the daily grind. And our son was a great sleeper. He would sleep 12 to 14 hours a day.
You're so lucky. I had one that was a sleeper and one that wasn't.
Yeah, well, our second one is not the sleeper. So
why do they give us two different ones? Why can't they both be sleepers?
I know, and they always give you the good sleeper first, so you set this expectation for this is how it should be, and then the second one comes along and not the case.
Yeah, exactly.
So we kind of were realizing, like, I don't get to see my son at all because I was an entrepreneur. I worked in construction. I was up early before he was awake, and often get home and he was already gone to bed. And we thought, this is crazy. We got this miracle baby, and we don't get to see him. So we decided, you know what? Let's pick up the Belize train again. And we actually ended up buying a lot sight unseen. The other property, which we had initially put an offer in, had since got purchased in the interim, and then our second son was born. He ended up in the NICU as well. Not quite as
in Canada still.
Yeah, same hospital and everything.
McMaster's a great hospital. I know that for sure. Yeah,
it is. And then once that happened, we're like, well, we already had everything set and planned to go, because we moved, and our youngest was only like 7 weeks old when we came to Belize. Yeah, so that's sort of the long short version, or
so you didn't. It's not like you left. Like, you were an entrepreneur. You had your own business in Canada, and then you said, okay, I'm just gonna give it up and come down. And then I'm assuming, were you able to pay the thing? Like, let me backtrack. So you had a mortgage and a car and everything in Canada, and that cost you, a lot of money. And in Belize, what was the difference like in cost when you moved?
Not having a mortgage anymore, just the cost to build a home and to purchase land was, honestly, to purchase land. Because at one point we were considering buying in like Northern Ontario, because we were at one point we were just like, we want to change, we want to do something different.
Well, like Sudbury and north of that, or
in French River area. I don't know if you know where that is. And like, even up there, the
That's
land
far.
To be on a lake. Oh yeah, no, it's like 6-hour drive from Toronto. To be on a lake is still like $200,000 to $300,000 for a lot.
Unbelievable.
And then you got to build up there, and you're on the Canadian Shield, so you need all this, for anyone who knows,
that's hard.
You need
that's really hard
piling, and so you need specialized crews and equipment to come in and build your house on that. And you're still in the middle. You're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and you're going to deal with harsh Canadian winters. So we were like, this is crazy. We don't want to do that. And we had some family members already. We moved to Hamilton. They all live in kind of Mississauga, Oakville area. Which isn't very far, but there's lots of traffic in the neighborhood, and they would be like, oh, it's so far to get to Hamilton. So we said,
wait a minute, from Hamilton to Oakville is not that far.
No, I know. So we figured, if that's far, then anywhere is far. So we're just going to go go where we want to go, and go to a place where we're not dealing with winters. And So the cost is massive, and also like property tax here is almost nothing. To put it into perspective, so I hadn't paid our property taxes. I just paid it like last month since we bought the land. So it's been 4 years.
Wow.
I prepaid till 2030, and it was 200 Belize, which is $100.
Oh my God, that's nothing.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
literally
like,
nothing.
yeah, it's $25
Wow.
a month, or sorry, a year,
So-
and that's Belize. That's 25 Belize a year.
So I don't know if you want to give me the real numbers, but maybe like how much was your house in Canada and how much was your house total in Belize? Or you can just do percentages.
Yeah, so I mean I can share. This was already like 4 years ago, so I can share this. I think it's fine. So we essentially we had bought our house kind of like when everyone was going a little bit crazy when the pandemic first hit. So we bought our house in like April of 2022. Sorry, April of 2020. Yeah. And we bought that for 475,000 US, Canadian. So that's probably somewhere around at the time, it's probably somewhere around 300,000 or something USD. We bought our lot here for 85,000.
Oh my God.
Quarter acre. That's USD. It's quarter acre. And we're literally like, you just walk across the road and the Caribbean Sea is right there.
Wow.
And then we built our house and moved everything. The cost of moving everything down and building our house was about $280,000.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like the differences are incredible of what you're gonna like where you are and what you're getting for the price. It's insane. That's great.
Now that has in the 4 years since we moved here, that those property prices have like probably tripled to quadrupled.
Really? Yeah, I know. I hear Belize is expensive now. And did we miss the window, or is it still cheaper?
I think probably in general it's still going to be cheaper because you have things like being if you can afford to pay cash, you can be mortgage free, and also just like again like property taxes. Like for me, Hamilton, to have not paid property taxes for 4 years, I would have probably been sued by the municipality
for sure.
And 4 years would have been close to $20,000.
Oh my God, that's nuts!
Right?
What a difference!
We were paying almost $5,000 a year to live in Hamilton, or to pay property taxes in Hamilton, essentially.
Yeah.
And we were in, a postage stamp size lot in a house that was over 100 years old that we had to fully renovate.
And it's Canadian. It's Canada weather. It's Canadian weather.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and that was a nightmare because we were all so tightly packed in. It was like kind of like not really row housing. There were semis, but they were really, really tightly packed together. And then we had these massive snowstorms, and the snow would just be piled up like 15 feet high in between the houses in these like cones. And you have this tiny little driveway and that as a contractor, that it's challenging to operate in those conditions.
Well, how do you get to work? You can't. You have to dig your way out. I mean,
yeah, you do. And then you dig your way out, and then you get to your storage locker where you hold all your tools, and you dig yourself into your storage locker to get all your stuff. So your day starts in the pitch black at 5 a.m. just to get to the job site for like 8 when it's like snowing. And so
my God, that's awful.
Don't miss any of that.
So that was the trigger to get us to California. Actually, was the day it took me. So we lived in a semi in the beaches, and we had a shared driveway with our neighbor. And one day, it snowed so much that it took 4 of us 4 hours to shovel the driveway enough so we could get our cars out. And I thought, okay, now I'm leaving. This is it. Canada just said to me, "You're not wanted here anymore. Goodbye."
Yeah, no, totally. Totally get that. It's just, when you're running a business, it's just one of those costs that like, how do you factor that into your business?
Yeah.
Like, it's not something you can pass off to. It's like an overhead expense, but you can't pass that off really to your clients because they're also dealing with the snow, right?
Exactly.
It's like I said, don't miss that in the slightest.
So you had your own business in Canada, but when you moved to Belize, could you still do what you were doing, or is that not allowed, or did you just were you kind of retired, or how did you fund your life after that?
We had a bunch of savings that we essentially used to get ourselves to a certain point,
Hmm.
and then my wife and I changed. We both changed careers. We both launched new businesses. So I started into content writing, and my
Hmm.
wife pursued a passion for fine art. So she was a consultant doing business operations for tech startups.
Hmm.
And yeah, and obviously I was in construction. No, it's the construction was too much of a boots on the ground job to like really take it with me. I attempted to pass off the business, sell the business to a longtime employee, but right around the same time that I was trying to ramp him up, he kind of developed some injuries and
Mm.
was a little bit more absent. I just didn't feel comfortable leaving that to him because I was gonna leave him all tools, like everything, the whole setup. And yeah, I just didn't feel confident that he was going to be able to keep things going, and so I just closed it. I just
Right.
shut it down, and I took a bunch of stuff with me, a bunch of tools, because we ended up building a house here.
Yeah.
So I used all that, and I had multiple crews, so the excess tools I sold off along with tons of our other belongings before we moved down.
Nice. So did that frighten you at all that you were like leaving your life in Canada just going away like that in all aspects? Was that scary at all?
Um, I probably not as scary as it should have been. I think that knowing what I know now, I should have been way more scared. Because yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it hasn't been easy, like pivoting and
Mm.
starting new, especially since I went into content writing, and then like not even a year later, LLMs showed up, so which was like
Yeah.
immediate competition. But that's actually what led me to do what I do now, because I just decided to go all in on the LLMs just to get an edge and in writing for myself in the industry, and that led to prompt engineering, which led to kind of using embedding prompts into workflows, and then that essentially is what I do now. So I work with
Wow. Were you
founders.
always technical before? Did you have a technical were you always like a techie on the like
Um,
underneath everything that you were doing and for work or
Not like for software and stuff. Obviously, like I had some sort of aptitude for like tools and all that kind of stuff just inherently through construction.
yeah.
But it was more so what I discovered was like it's the link that I've found that, and ironically, actually, it was a tool that I created, like an LLM based tool that actually helped me find this connection. It was like systems thinking. So
Mm.
when I was running my business, I created like all sorts of my own business operations and systems for my business, whether it was, like client onboarding, just like planning my workflows, um, all that kind of stuff. And then that has actually transferred over into doing essentially like software workflows for
Right. So you were doing it
founders.
for your construction business already,
Yeah. But
improve.
not to the same degree that that I'm currently working with, but just the kind of the concept of like following a set pattern every time, right?
Hmm.
Now essentially what I do is I help people automate
Right.
those those patterns essentially. Just the technology wasn't also quite there at the time. It's pretty, a lot of it's pretty new, how you can just tie in an AI with an API, and and it can do all this work in the background for you. And
Yeah. So this is probably not stuff you could have even done before you moved, right? Because the technology wasn't available.
yeah, yeah.
So and then you started off by being a copywriter. Like, were you a writer beforehand? Is that why you decided to do that, or did you say, "Oh, this is something that I could do"?
I had always liked it. I'd always liked writing. I have a 4-year degree in history from Carleton University, and that
Oh,
was
so
a
there you
ton of,
go. You do have some background.
yeah. So I always like, oddly enough, I always loved writing the essays. And so I had kind of had a penchant for writing. I always did all my own copywriting for my business. So I kind of like leaned into that. One of the first things I did was write a book based on my experience as a contractor. So it's called Home in Good Hands. a homeowner's guide to construction and renovation. So it was like, it was
Nice.
really something I wanted to write to give to clients when, you know, when essentially as like an onboard, be like, here, this is what you can expect from, you know, from this renovation project. So I ended up just writing that, and it's available on Amazon, and then and from there I ran with it. So I do a lot of I did a lot of writing for construction industry, trade magazines, and marketing firms that cater to like construction suppliers and stuff like that. So I still do some of that as well. Because I enjoy it, and they're longtime clients and stuff like that. And it's kind of it's easier for me to, you know, I can whip off some articles pretty quick.
Yeah.
About
Did that work dry up, or did you just decide to pivot?
I decided to pivot. Yeah. I've actually, for one of my clients, I won't, who shall remain nameless, I've actually like automated a lot. It's a digital marketing firm that I work for, and I've automated a lot of the blog post content.
Yeah.
As part, right. That's kind of how a lot of this started too. So
right.
it streamlines that entire workflow, uses webhooks, which ties into their content management system and updates statuses and stuff for me, just from like triggering something on my computer. I don't need to like open the website and log in and go to the client file and find the project and flick
Nice.
flick over the status change on something. I can just literally just do it right from my computer. It's been huge. I've saved myself like 15 hours a month on just like admin tasks for that client of mine and their clients essentially.
Yeah,
So,
but it sounds like at the same time, it's kind of like you were running really hard to pay for everything in Canada, but now you don't have to run as hard because everything is a lot cheaper, right? So it's kind of like your burn rate is way lower than it used to be. So
you
can do the stuff you want to do, even if you get paid less, because you're still covering all your costs and you have plenty of leftover money.
Exactly. Yeah, we I would say we easily cut our monthly expenses down to like by 50%, I would say, for sure.
Wow.
If not even more, like we can live pretty lean if we want to. And then if we want to, like, you know, go out, do a key day, do some like kind of the touristy stuff that obviously, you know, you sometimes get local rates on stuff. It's not this time of the year because it's still kind of high season, but in the summer months and stuff like that, there's a lot of like local discounts and stuff. So yeah, no, it's been huge. I can't even, looking back, it's just like, oh my, I can't believe how much money we used to spend. Just
it's insane. You know, being in North America,
yeah.
it's unbelievable how much money we spend to live here, and the quality of life is not as good as it could be anywhere else, right?
Yeah. We wanted to be closer to nature, and like as you can see behind me, right, that's just like, this is essentially
can't get any closer than that unless you're actually in it.
Yeah, which you don't really want to be. There's a lot of mosquitoes right now, but it's nice to look at for sure. And it's similar on this side of the house, and then in the back we have a canal. You get some wildlife in there, like crocodiles and.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and you know,
have you ever had to wrangle one yet? Or nothing in there?
Thankfully, no, but I almost tripped over one like 2 months ago in the dark.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Don't go outside in the dark. So was it easy to immigrate to Belize? I mean, is it easy to get visas and stuff like that to live there? I mean,
as I talk to more and more people, because I do have my own podcast. It's on pause at the moment, but talking with them, it's actually really, it's probably one of the easier places to get to just do residency and to get visas and stuff. You can, as a Canadian, you can just essentially come, you get your 30-day tourist stamp, and you can essentially extend it almost indefinitely, like every month. It requires you to go every month. We just started the residency process, but we've been on essentially a tourist visa. So we do tourist visa extensions every month. Recently, they've allowed us to do like they give us 3 months at once, essentially. So you only have to go, like 4 times a year, opposed to every month. But yeah, you can just go every month. You just have to show proof of income and where you're staying. So whether that's your land title or a lease, that's all you really need to show. And
wow,
you pay your you have to pay. It's 100 US a person a month to do it. And but it's pretty simple and straightforward.
Oh, it's totally worth it. And,
Yeah.
and Belize is English speaking too, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
former British colony, so English is the first language here. They speak Spanish and Creole as well, so it's like kind of unofficially a trilingual country, but everybody essentially speaks those three languages, but English is the main one. Yeah.
Right. So it's like there's no language barrier at all for you guys, except for the boots and the other Canadianisms, right?
Yeah, no language. It's like yes and no. This is something I talk about quite often. It's just like everyone can speak English, but we don't necessarily like understand it in the same way.
Right.
Belize has a little bit of like a high context culture aspect to it, so things are just not always. Information is just not always offered up. Stuff that you might think is pretty obvious, they don't.
Right.
They don't necessarily. Give that information to you unless you like explicitly ask for certain things. But
Yes.
often you don't even think to have to ask for that because you think it's so obvious that you shouldn't have to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But now that I kind of understand that about the country, it's a lot easier to like communicate with people. I know just gotta just always ask exactly, just almost like, yeah, it seems so obvious, but you just ask it and yeah, and then you'll get the information you need.
Yeah.
But,
I remember that when I was in the UK once, I asked the bus driver, when's the next bus coming? And he said, the usual time.
yeah.
Gee,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah.
That was very useful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
let's pivot to healthcare. So what about the differences between Canadian healthcare and where you are now? I mean, now that you're a resident and all that, I mean, do you find the healthcare better, about the same, like cheaper? Like, how's that?
Well, it's definitely not cheaper because in Canada it was like all like free essentially,
Yeah.
right? It's
Well,
universal
unless you
healthcare.
count your tax, the amount that was pulled in your taxes, right?
Yes. Yeah. So so here it can be if you have like a health scare of some sort, it can get expensive. So actually our son, who are 7-week-old when we arrived, so within the first 4 weeks he got a very serious bacterial infection that essentially almost killed him, just mainly because he was so young, he didn't have his immunity, and he was exposed to just new things in the environment, and my wife didn't have immunity either yet, that she could pass on to breast milk. So he got very, very sick, and it was not a cheap ordeal to have him in the hospital for it was like 10 days or something like that. It was like something like close to, if you seem to remember, like almost 10 grand.
But you can get American style health insurance there, right? Or any kind of like health insurance like there, or is it all pay as you go?
Yeah, you can get like expat from like outside of the country. You get like an expat healthcare. Once you have your residency, then you can get health insurance here through like a Belizean insurance provider.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a public healthcare system here that is free and anybody can go use it, but it definitely has its limitations. And we know of stories where you injure your foot and the solution is to just amputate it. So it's like you don't we kind of understand we only go there is like if you were to get bit by a poisonous snake and you need some anti-venom, they have that there, and like that's why you would go there. But so we sort of avoid the public system, and I mean thankfully everyone's really healthy, and we haven't had any real health scares in a long time. There's a clinic down here that opened up maybe a year or so ago that's actually really good. And we used it once when one of my sons fell and cut his head open and needed some stitches. And then that was free, which was surprising. I don't know if it's still free there or if that was just because it was new at the time. So it's definitely something like if you're here, you want some sort of health insurance or savings or something that you can use for those moments. A lot of like the foreigners here, they have their health health plans from back home or whatever, and then often they just leave. They just go back to their home
Wherever they're
countries
from.
to get what the treatment they need. Although we have heard, like, again, like, Belize is a developing country. It's like we've seen so much change since we moved here. So Belize City does have some great private hospitals. You can get like modern technology, and there's more people now going there to do like certain surgeries and stuff like that here, because it is compared to the US, it's way cheaper compared to the US.
Oh yeah, it's impossibly expensive here. It's ridiculous how much it costs. And so what about so you were saying that oh, I forget what I was going to ask now. But so you can get health insurance eventually. Like once you become a resident, you can get health insurance just like you would anywhere else. You pay a certain amount per month and they take care of the catastrophic and any of that other stuff.
Yeah, and that would be through a Belizean provider, which would actually be like, I haven't looked into it yet because we don't have a residency yet, but there's definitely be something I would do. And but typically, like, insurance here is quite cheap. Like if you want simple home insurance, you're looking at a few $100s for the year. Same with car insurance. It's like 300 Belize a year, which is like 150 US a year, right?
Wow, that's nothing.
Which is in Canada, I was paying like, I think it was like $300 or $400 a month, right, for vehicle insurance for one car, and we had two. It's available, and once we use a Belizean provider, it will be much cheaper. Right now we're on like AXA Global. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
oh yeah, so it's one of those sort of expat international health insurance type of things.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned bugs, crocodiles, and venomous snakes. Is that a big problem where you are? It sounds like.
The poisonous snakes down here where I live, not such a big deal. You get into the jungles and stuff like that. So like, despite the background, like, this isn't really what we would consider jungle here. This is like part of savanna. So like Belize, it's like 60% of Belize is savanna. So this is really like where I live is really like a marshy, swampy grassland sort of. So this is just like, this is not really, it looks like a jungle, but it's really not. When you get into the real jungles, there's a lot of stuff. There's some serious poisonous snakes here. What's it called? Tommy Goff, I think is like one of the most deadly ones here. And I think it's like one of the most deadly in the world in general. There's other things like cane toads, which secrete poison off their skin. We actually had one of our dogs almost died from licking one.
Jeez.
There's poisonous plants. We've actually had a cat that almost died from eating a poisonous plant here.
Oh no.
We've in 4 years.
Okay, you're not going to get any of that stuff in Hamilton.
No. So there is a trade-off. It's like often what I talk about on my Substack. It's like you're solving some problems and you're opening the door to other ones when you make a move abroad or when you move to a place like this. And like the crocs, for us, it's not such a big deal. Like we get the odd one in the canal. We see maybe one or two a year, but if you live like right on the lagoon here, you'll see them all the time. Some people lose dogs to them and stuff like that.
Wow.
Or cats and stuff. And here it's boas. So if you have like, that's really the snake around us, right, is boas. You get some really huge boa constrictors. So if you have a small dog or cat or something like that, you have to be conscious.
Keep an eye on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they get to be pretty big here, and they will, the cats are small enough that they're lunch. So
speaking of animals, what about human animals? I mean, Belize is a big hotspot for expats, right? Do you get a lot of tourists and expats?
Tourism is huge. It's like 45% of the country's GDP is tourism.
Wow.
So it's like a massive industry here. Where I live is like a fairly touristy spot. It's called Placencia, on the Placencia Peninsula. So it's a pretty big touristy place. Yeah, lots of expats. It's especially like recently in the last like few years. It's really huge uptick. A ton of development. A lot of people coming here and building, and so it's obviously still, to answer your question from earlier, it's obviously still cheaper and affordable because there has not been it has not let up the development here and the purchases of land here. It's just like it's crazy. It's how many people are coming here, and so it's a pretty busy spot. During high season, right? November to kind of right around now, end of April. It usually kind of cools off a bit in the summer months, mainly because, well, tourism cools off. The heat shoots through the roof.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, you're pretty close to the equator, aren't you? Where you are? Is it near there, or are you just closer?
We're closer. Yeah. No, Belize is just under Mexico. So, and sort of like in line with parts of Guatemala. So it's not like the equator is, still south of Central America, right? So we're close. It's still hot. It can be very, very hot. We had a super, super hot year 2 years ago where it was like over 50 degrees Celsius for many, many days. Yeah,
that is nuts.
It was insane. Yeah,
you just basically stayed inside in your AC pumping, basically, right?
Yeah, which is also something to consider because it's a massive expense here.
I bet.
So as much as like a lot of things are cheap, like gas and water and property taxes, electricity is not, because Belize doesn't produce more than it consumes. So it buys from Mexico, and then as a homeowner and consumer, you pay that premium on it. So, and it's endless summer here, so you're pretty much running ACs like 10 months a year.
Wow. So it's a hidden factor there. It's not the same thing as you would get. So let's go back to when you guys were thinking about moving. I mean, how did your friends and family deal with it? I mean, were they all saying, you guys are insane, what are you doing? Why are you leaving Canada? It's the best place on earth. Or did they say, I want to come with you?
It was like a little bit of both, right?
Mm-hmm.
My brothers were like, oh, this, they were like, oh, this is amazing. I wish I could do it, even though they could totally do it.
Of course, there's nothing stopping them, really.
Yeah, they just chose to do it. They could do it. My parents were, my dad was like, why are you doing this? My mom was, just more, she's gonna miss the grandkids, right? So
of course,
and that was definitely the hardest part was taking the kids away from the grandparents. But we stay in touch, right? We have weekly calls with them, and so yeah, we got a lot of that, like, why are you moving to Belize? Just from like kind of random people we'd meet and talk to and stuff like that. And we tell them what we're doing, and people are just like dumbfounded often about it.
Well, in Canada, we're all taught that Canada is the best country in the world. Like from elementary school up, right? It's like, why would you ever want to leave? This place is awesome. It's the best place ever. And when people are thinking about leaving, like whether they're retiring or something like that, it's always that. It's like, oh, when are you coming back? Like, I remember when I first moved down here, my mom was like, every time I called her, she goes, so are you staying in California? And I said, yes. Yes, I'm staying in California. Are you sure? When are you coming back? And I'm like, I am not coming back. I'll come back to visit. I'll do that, but I'm not coming back. And it was just such a, she couldn't conceive of me wanting to leave Canada because it was so awesome, right? But there are better places.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like my dad. Yeah, he still says like, oh, when do you come back? Or if you ever come back? And it's like, I don't know if we're ever going to come back. Like, even if we were to leave Belize, we probably still wouldn't go back to Canada. We'd go somewhere else. So yeah, I think it's just a lot of people kind of fail to realize that, like, there's other equally valid ways to live in the world, right? And I just use this example. I was on another podcast on Wednesday, and we were talking about this as well. And just like, there's a little community down here called Signbite. It's a predominantly like Garifuna community, and it's what you would consider to be like low income, but you cruise down there, at like 7-8 o'clock at night, and the entire village is out on the street, and they're playing music and playing the drums and hanging out and having a good time, and because they don't have like the comforts of what would be like modern conveniences like air conditioning and flat screen TVs and Netflix and all that kind of stuff, but they find joy and value in their community, and they're out on the street, and it's like it's really wonderful to see actually when you cruise down there, because during the day when it's hot, like it kind of seems like there's not a lot of people there, and it's so surprising when you cruise down there in the evening how many people are like out and about. It's like you really see how big the village is at that time. But that's not something that really happens, especially like back where in Canada, where the when I was in Hamilton, I might hang out with a neighbor or something in a backyard, but the whole neighborhood isn't out on the street hanging out together, right?
Yeah, and we don't even really go to bars or coffee shops or anything like that anymore. I mean, North America has just become this separated place where everybody just does their own thing, and then maybe, like you say, you have a few get-togethers here and there, but there's no sort of third place where everybody hangs out, like in a public square, or where there's a lot of people around doing stuff like there is in Europe and some other places. North America is just not like that. It's like we're all so isolated because of how far apart we are in cars and things like that. And it's not a really it's kind of like not a very humane lifestyle, right? Because if you think about hanging out with all these people, I mean, it's fun, right? You guys you probably have a great time when you go.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, right? And everyone's really welcoming, and and it just makes you realize that like this is equally good as or I don't know, it may be better, but again, that's subjective, right? But it's not worse. It's not worse, right?
Well, from a money perspective, it's a lot better, right? And from a hanging out with people, like weather, there's like so many upsides to doing it compared to the downsides, right?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, 100%.
Nice. So if someone was thinking about doing this, what would be the number one piece of advice you'd give them?
Don't underestimate how long it takes to like actually get your feet under you. I think it's really easy to think like, oh, I'm just going to move somewhere and just kind of like pick my life back up. And it's for a lot of the people, at least that come to Belize, it's not the case at all. Many people come, and within a year and a half, they've packed up and gone home because they just can't seem to like settle and find a groove. And from personal experience, like it takes a long time. It took us like 2.5 years to really feel like we were settled and we had like kind of home again. And so I think if you come in with that expectation, it makes adjusting to your host country like a lot easier, because you don't have that expectation that it's going to be immediate.
Yeah. So when did you notice you felt like you were at home? Like what there was something that triggered it, or just like you look back on it and said, "Oh, this feels like where we should be"?
Yeah, it was a moment. So yeah, it was about like a year and a half ago or so, when I was walking down the boardwalk in the village, in Placencia Village, and I was with my kids, and they saw a kid from daycare, and then and they was like saw each other from down like an alley, and they were like, "Oh, hey!" And they like ran towards each other, and they were just like little kids, right? They're like 3 and 4, and they're like, they give each other a hug, and like immediately started playing together. That was like a moment where I was like, okay, this like we have like some roots down here,
Yeah.
Because it was like a sense of community, and then their parents, the other kids' parents came out, and I was chatting with them while the kids played, and it was like not planned. It was completely impromptu. And so that just made me feel like, yeah, okay. So we have a community. We've established ourselves here, and like to the point where like our kids are recognizing other kids that they know, and excited to see each other. And it was a real kind of like heartwarming and surprising experience, I guess.
Nice. But it took a while to get to that point.
It did. Yeah. It took a while to get to that point. Yeah. It was, to find that community and just get established, and, get careers established, and, like just find a groove. Right. I mean, as I kind of mentioned, we all the health scares, those things just kind of throw you for loops. And we've had a lot of kind of things like that. And we seem to be kind of through all that stuff. We don't really get these like crazy surprises anymore.
Right.
Maybe just because we've adapted to the country and we know how to like, we're subconsciously like avoiding these things or managing these things.
Yeah.
In ways that like, yeah, it's like it's not obvious that we're doing it, but we've just adapted to the country enough that we can like avoid some of these like hardships essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Would you say that most of your friends now there are locals, like Belizeans, or the expats, or is it a mix?
It's a mix. Yeah. Since the kids like are in school full time, and it's a mixed school, we definitely have like a wider group of local friends and stuff like that. It's still a little bit like distance, I will admit. Like, I don't think we're at a position yet to probably like have anybody over for like a dinner party or anything. Although we could, it maybe we feel a little bit awkward making that first move. We probably could actually, now that
you're going to serve some Canadian delicacies like poutine and
we actually did that. The kids' school had like a national food day or whatever. So everybody
fantastic.
Came and brought, and like Belize is quite multicultural, so there was like a wide variety of food. But yeah, we brought poutine. Yeah.
Can you get cheese curds down there?
You can actually. There's like a Mennonite community here, like a pretty big Mennonite community.
Oh wow.
Here. Yeah, and they originally like they came. I mean, obviously they came from Germany to North America to Canada, and down to the States, down to Mexico, and that's how they got here. So they actually have like a lot of the Mennonites here have ties back to Canada, a lot. So there's kind of like two brands of Mennonite here. There's like very traditional who live like in the jungle, farming communities, off grid completely. And then there's like an industrious version, like a lay industrious version. They're still quite religious, but they run all the essentially like agricultural businesses here, all the construction supply businesses here. So they have ties back to Canada. A lot of them, they send their youth to the oil fields and stuff like that in Canada to work, usually for like 3 or 4 years before they come back to Belize and start businesses and stuff. So Belize is super interesting. There's Taiwanese here, there's Indians here, there's Lebanese, there's a small Jewish community, there's the Garifuna, there's the Mestizos, there's Mayan people.
Wow, you have sounds like really diverse.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, and then you have all the foreigners like the British and Canadians and Americans, and there's quite, at least where we are, there's quite a large South African community. So yeah, you get people from all over here. It's really cool.
So it sounds like you don't have any trouble finding food then, like you don't miss anything from Canada.
Well, that's another thing though. There's not like we would love. There's not enough like it's a super small country still, right? So there's only like 400,000 people in the entire country.
You're kidding. Right? It's not that small.
Well, I mean, considering like Hamilton, which is like not a big city really in Canada, is 550,000 people.
Yeah, so the entire island. It's an island, right?
No, Belize is it's landlocked. It's landlocked.
Okay, so the entire country is actually smaller than the city you came from.
Yeah. So as a result, you don't get like a lot of diversity in food because like you need people to run the businesses, and they just there's not a huge market for. Right. So if you wanted to I would love for there to be like a faux restaurant here, but
not enough Vietnamese to open one.
Yeah. Although there was a really great like Taiwanese restaurant in Belmopan that does awesome like noodle soups and dumplings and stuff like that. But so unfortunately, the food, and it's like a tourist area where we live. So there's a lot of like the same kind of stuff. But
what is Belizean cuisine? Is it like Mexican almost, or what is it? What is it?
They have some of their own unique items. Like they have a thing called a fry jack. So it's tortilla, I believe it's like tortilla batter, but they kind of throw it into the fryer and it balls up, and it's it's hollow inside, and then they cut it open, and then they'll stuff it with, can be and really anything. Like you can have a breakfast version with like bacon and eggs inside. You can have, like rice and beans. You can have like stewed chicken inside, like whatever. They're really good, actually.
Dude, you're making me hungry. Those sound really good.
Yeah, they're really good. So like, if you come and get like a breakfast here or somewhere, usually you get like a fry jack on the side. But for food here, the main thing is like the fruit here is just
Oh, you can imagine, because it's in
level.
the tropics, right?
Yeah, it's just
get all the tropical foods.
Yeah, and all sorts of interesting things here that we've never, like, you just don't get a lot of back home in Canada, right? Passion fruits, or
I love passion fruit. That's my favorite, my absolute
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, and then like random things you've never heard of, like it's called sapadilla. It's like a blend between, I don't even know. It's like kind of like this kind of looks kind of like an avocado, but when you cut it open inside, it's this brown flesh that is so sweet that it's like almost like the sugar in the fruit is like granular, almost like when you you eat it, it's like brown. It's like a brown sugar fruit. It's so good. But they're, again, very, very short growing season, so you only get them for like a few weeks, but really good. And just like Belize is a big producer and exporter of bananas and pineapples and stuff, so we get tons of those, and they're so cheap. You can get 7 bananas for 50 cents.
Holy cow!
50
That's
US
amazing.
cents. Yeah, and pineapples are like a few bucks Belize. It's just, there's a lot of good fruit here, and the vegetables are getting better. The Mennonite community is like starting to grow different items and stuff. Like you can get English cucumbers here and stuff like that, and different types of tomatoes, and so it's and then there's like food delivery services here, so you can like get grade A beef kind of delivered to your door from a local farm, kind of just off the peninsula where I live.
Oh man!
So you just kind of like WhatsApp them your order, and they come down, and you just kind of pay cash, and they'll give you, some flank steaks and grade A roast or like whatever you want.
So you're probably eating a lot healthier too.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. My wife like shed her baby weight for like so fast when we moved here, just like, and we both like just slimmed down too. I've probably lost, probably close to 20 pounds.
Wow. So you feel a lot healthier. Do you do a lot more exercise, and like you feel better where you are? Like way better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's just we're like, we don't, Belize isn't like a commercial society here. Like so there's no like fast foods or anything like that. There's no McDonald's in the entire country.
That's the solution right there. Just ban all fast foods. Everybody will get here.
You don't realize how much you eat it until it's just like not available at all. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I haven't had McDonald's since I was in Mexico, which was almost 2 years ago. Right.
Wow.
Like that was the last time. Whereas
if I was back in Canada, away from fast food is like key. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah. And just like, and just I think it's the abundance of fresh fruit and stuff that we eat. We just eat a ton of it. We actually have a fruit stand right on the front of our lot. We rent a little space to a local person who runs a fruit stand. So we have it like readily available, which has been like, it's been awesome. Just be able to walk out and just, and you just kind of pick whatever you want right there. Lots of watermelons and cantaloupe and papaya, and if you like papaya, a lot of people don't like papaya. I do, but it's mangoes too. We're coming into mango season. We actually have some mango trees out here that are starting to fruit. So Man,
it sounds like you live in paradise. Would you ever want to leave?
We don't have any plans to leave. There's really no reason for us to leave. Belize is also like a tax haven too. So if you're deemed a tax resident here, you don't get taxed on foreign income.
Oh, here. Really?
It's only on tax. You only get taxed on Belizean earned money. So like if a Belizean has given you money, or Belizean business is giving you money, you get taxed on that. But otherwise, they don't tax any other income coming.
Boy, that's a huge win for digital nomads who want to live there, because I mean, all of your money comes from out of the country usually, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't have my residency here. I can't work in the country, so it has to come from outside. So unless I were to get a work permit, which I never did. I'm just right off the bat. My wife and I were just very focused on just remote work, and it has that benefit as well, right? No.
Yeah, and plus you're in a North American time zone too, so it's easy for you to work with US companies and US clients.
Yeah, it's actually perfectly positioned. It's like it's in Central Time, so it's like it kind of, based on daylight savings, it shifts from like 1 to 2 hours from either coast, depending what time of year it is. So I'm never more than 2 hours difference from either side.
Fantastic. Well, this has been great. I mean, if you ask me, why wouldn't you want to move to Belize? It's like your negatives are so minimal compared to your upsides, especially if you're a digital nomad and you have remote work. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you? It's fantastic. So are you ready to guide people? You know, everyone who watches this show is going to go, okay, I got to go talk to Simo now because I need help.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm always happy to like answer questions that people have about living in Belize, and I'll give you the straight up answers, right? Like, it's not always easy. A lot of people come and go here, right? So, but I'm happy to answer anyone's questions that they got about Belize, and it's still not on a lot of people's radars. A lot of people don't really know where it is, and yeah.
I remember when I used to subscribe to International Living magazine way back when, and Belize was always at the top of the list for people who wanted to go someplace to retire, and they said it's kind of come down a bit because of the price, but like you said, it's probably still way cheaper than many places in North America. Absolutely, because North America is becoming so ridiculously expensive. Even places that you think would be cheap because they're far are getting expensive too, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so this has been great. Thank you so much. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
You can, what is the best way? Actually, I've got a bunch of different emails here. I'm trying to remember which one to.
Do you have it? Well, do you want to direct people to your Substack or?
Yeah, the Substack would probably be the easiest one. So it's just Simo D, Simo Substack, and then you could also email me at simon@movesmart.world, and that's linked to a web app that I've created. So those would be kind of the two easiest and best ways to reach me if you need.
Perfect. Well, everybody who wants to move to Belize, talk to Simo because he knows what he's talking about.
Oh yeah.
So thank you so much. This has been great. And enjoy the rest of your day. Keep away from those crocodiles, man. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained, I thrive. Oh, I thrive.